Hello again, mate. 8-9, tap and go. I'm in Sydney. It's Friday morning. It's awfully grey and ordinary looking, I've got to say. The forecast of the weekend is not great at all.
Tap and go. Let's tap and go. Let's straddle. Let's dive for the line. Not avoiding a tackle, just diving for the line.
Just diving
I love
over
semantics
the
in
line.
rugby. It's so great.
Yeah.
As long as you're not avoiding a tackle en route to diving for a line, it's fine. But if part of your mindset was to avoid a tackle, possibly not.
Yes.
Also, I learned from Nigel. I think it was Nigel, which is the referee's in the way, which he was for Jake Gordon, but the ball doesn't touch the referee. It's permissive whether the referee calls it back. But in this case, the attacking team, the Wallabies, could insist on the letter of the law and say, "I'm sorry, Andrea, the ball didn't touch you. Yes, you got in the way, but you cannot wipe off the try." That's how weird rugby is.
Is this what we really want, though? A semantic argument about the laws in the middle of a game?
It's you read stories about cricket 20 years ago or something, and you kind of rugby's in the stage where we're still working all this stuff out. No one really knows.
Yeah. Hello. The law clearly says if you touch the ball inside the boundary.
Yeah, it's like that. I didn't know that. I thought the referee in the way was normal, and it turns out that they almost always do that. They go, "I'm sorry, guys, my way," because you get the ball back. It would have been Wallaby scrum. But in this case, there's a try, so you go, "I don't know if I want to get it back."
Yeah, I don't think I actually want a scrum. I'm pretty happy to play on. Yes. Therefore.
Yeah, that's great.
Good. All right, hit me with the question.
Question one.
Yeah.
To set this up, just so you know, there's sort of a group of Wallabies that are 20 caps or lower, and I was looking at them, and I was looking at
how many are in that? 10, 12?
About So your Williamses, your Nongors, these kind of guys. They haven't completely cemented. And then I thought, what do the 50 cap guys look like on the Lions? These are not necessarily household names either. They're sort of your Will Stewarts, good players.
Yeah.
And I thought, which one of these, if these 20 cap Wallabies, do we look at now and go, you look like a 50 capper for sure? Which is hard. It's difficult to project.
Yeah. So we're looking at guys like I've
Tom Liner
here in front of me. We've got guys like Jeremy Williams, Langy Gleeson, Dave Parecki is about to play his 22nd test. Jorgensen, Suoli,
Matt Fessler,
Tizano, Fessler's obviously in it. Tom Liner was obviously in it. Dylan Peach is obviously in there. So there's a good number there.
So who do you think is sure to get to 50 when you look at these guys?
It's a really good question. Max Jorgensen's an easy one, so I'm not going to worry about here. I actually think Tom Liner is the one that is the standout one for me. I just think of all the fly halves in Australia, and there's not many. There's only 4 full-time state 10s, of which 2 are in a state of flux. Tom Liner is the obvious one. He's being backed by Joe Schmidt. He will be backed by Les Kiss, I have no doubt. And he's going to be a guy that I think the Wallabies will build around for the next 2 or 3 or 4 years. And if they play 15 tests, if they play 14 or 15 tests a year for the next 3 or 4 years, then he's going to be awfully close to 50 tests, isn't he?
Mostly because of position anyways, because it's very difficult for wings to get to 50. And so you're looking at 10s, and 9s and 10s can get there. It's such a tactical leader kind of thing. And I like your argument about who else is there, so that's a good one too. It's interesting that Joey Suali doesn't come up because it's a lot of millions of bucks to put on a guy. And you wonder.
I think he will too for that reason.
I will go with Suoli, but I think in a different position. I am resigned. People have been trying to talk to me about this. I don't agree, and I didn't agree for a year. I don't like him at 13 against proper teams. I agree. He could play that against Georgia. He could do that against whatever. But when he's going up against Box, Ireland, French, All Blacks. They're going to eat him alive at 13 on defense.
He could do that against, England at Twickenham.
But he's so good. Yeah. He can do things that no one else can do. So I think, and he's so young. So that's why also Tom and Joey both pretty young. So they got time to get 50.
Yeah. No, I think like there's a few, like Harry Potter could. He just looks like a all action type guy. Like he's gone from one test to 6 in no time at all. So like he's flavor of the month, I suppose. So he definitely could, even like like Carlo Tizzano probably could too, in the same way. And the obvious answer is, well, what about Fraser McWright? Well, Phil Waugh played 70 odd tests behind George Smith. Chris Whittaker played 70 odd tests behind George Gregan. So there needs to be that that understudy type role. So Tizzano, I think, is another good one as well.
Are we marking you down as Liner? I think Liner was your first.
Yeah, no, Liner's the obvious one. Yeah, Liner's the obvious one to me because, particularly with Les Kiss coming in, I think that the dynamic is going to work in his favour there. So I think,
which is interesting too, because the teams that beat the Lions, when you actually list off the fly-offs they had for New Zealand, Springboks and Wallabies, they're household names. And it's incredibly rare to have a first-time starting fly-off, a 3-cap guy. It is just unheard of. You're looking at Dan Carter. You're looking at Bowden Barrett, Mornay Steen, Andre Pollard.
So funnily enough, on from the last Australian tours, though, the last Australian fly half to play the Lions was James O'Connor, and the one before that was Stephen Larkham, and he was only 2001. So he was only second or third or fourth year, maybe third year into playing 10 full time.
Fair.
He didn't switch to 10.
Now know, fair.
He'd won a World Cup.
Know that he's one of the greats.
Yes.
In retrospect, don't even know that about Tom Liner. We don't even know if he's good yet because he didn't have any real opportunity in the series to show it. No, he was trying to stay alive.
Just trying to stay upright is what he was trying to do. Yeah. So I think this actually flows into my questions, and that is with Nic White getting a farewell test, essentially, are the Wallabies already starting to think about the Rugby Championship?
Clearly. I mean, around the Rob Ballatini, clearly by now, I think we realized that Will Skelton was fit for the first. There's 15 or so tests for the Wallabies this year. And Joe Schmidt is a planning type guy. And I think this is to his detriment in this particular series. I think Joe should have sort of thrown out some of his methodical tendencies. You don't have to be in camp forever and ever, Joe. Will Skelton's a big guy. If he falls down and gets gain line, okay? He doesn't have to know where he's supposed to be because he just falls down and gets gain line. And, I think sometimes you have to get over yourself and say, there are superlative people, put them out there. But I think now that the series is gone, I think he pivoted pretty quickly on things like Nic White, holding Rob Ballatini, who probably could play, but why would you? Because you're going to go to South Africa, and then if you don't have Rob Ballatini and you go to Ellis Park, what are you doing? Where is your gain line? Does Will Skelton get to play? I don't know. So I think he's had to look at it, but only because of how things happened. And now that he's saying we have to switch to Malays and getting all eggheady and I think going too far down the victim route, I think he just should have probably approached this as a knockout, quarterfinal, semifinal, final, and just play all your eggs.
Yeah, it feels like that. I've been telling you for a while, not necessarily while I've been recording, but I'd had mail from several months ago that said that Nic White was going to pull the pin after the Lions series, and so I was expecting that he would play a game in the series at some point. I didn't really have him penciled in to start the third test, I must say that. So I wasn't entirely sure how it was going to play out. As soon as he was named, or as soon as he was in the frame, I thought, oh yeah, here it is, here it comes. And sure enough, he confirmed the retirement the next day. So there certainly does feel like there's an element of that. Schmidt says he's not a sentimentalist. This is, he's been picked to do a specific job, and the two things can be true. They can be.
Yeah. That's funny that both coaches are saying the same thing this week. I'm not a sentimentalist.
Yeah, you're a sentimentalist. No,
it's funny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But Andy, you're like, no, I really know you're not. With Joe, you're like, a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, look, I think it's pretty obvious that there is an eye ahead, and I wouldn't be surprised if Valentini maybe doesn't even go to South Africa. There now needs to be.
You mean?
Yeah, saving for Argentina in Australia, and then if we can get through that, then the Bledisloe. Yeah,
I see. Yeah.
And because they fly to South Africa next week, basically. So
wow.
it's not a huge turnaround. I
thought you guys had 15 tests this year or something crazy.
Yeah, there's. Yes.
You have five. You have five. There's five. That's 9 already.
Yeah. So there'll be 6 tests through 3, then 6 tests through the Rugby Championship. 4 probably plus 6. That's 10, and then 5 on the spring tour via Japan. Yes, that's right.
Nice.
So there's Ian Payton was on Michael Atkinson's midweek show on Stan Sport here in Australia, and he said that there is roughly, I think, 40, I think is his number, 40 tests between now and the start of the World Cup. So, and his whole point was, around this, 20 to 30 to 40 test guy, how do we start getting game time into the guys that we need? And he's basically sort of saying, it's got to start now, and it probably should have started 2 weeks ago if we're honest. So, it means guys like Ryan Lonergan are obviously going to have to come into the picture. It means that, we do need to get more test time into Tom Liner. It means they do need to work out where Joseph Suaalii is going to play and start playing him there, and then, start playing him there in Super Rugby as well. So there's going to have to be a lot more coordination, I think, with the States as well. Yeah. What's the last one?
Question 3. Of all the substantive messages I've got on DMs, straight up on WhatsApp from Australian rugby fanatics, real people, the difference between when a ruck starts, what a sort of pre-ruck breakdown looks like. They actually read the laws. These are real rugby guys. They don't mess around with that breakdown, by the way. They go straight into this with a question. Do Australia have the personnel to play a rush, blitz, up and in kind of defense? Or is the reason why they're sticking with what looks like an old-fashioned defense is because they don't have the personnel? And that's a very interesting comment to me, because it's dangerous to go, we're going to change our system. England did it, and they realized we don't have these people.
We can't.
So we can
Yeah, it's a good question. I think they do, because the Brumbies in New South Wales kind of played not a straight out blitz. I think I called it at some point in writing a not quite blitz, not quite rush defense, because there was sort of elements of both. The Brumbies certainly will pick and choose times to shoot. They often send a shooter up when they're between the 22s.
Yeah, they did that to the Lions, but they do have personnel like Muirhead is a no lactic acid guy. He keeps going. Yeah. He doesn't have top end speed. But so the question is, can Max Jorgensen run 40, 30, 40, 30, 20? Can he do that all game or not?
Yeah. And that's a fair question. And the answer is probably a good chunk rhetorical at the moment. So I think they need to find an Australian way of doing that, if that makes sense. So yes, I think there does need to be some sort of higher line speed defensive line, whether it's flat out blitz, whether it's rush, whatever you want to call it. But I think that there's a way to adapt it for the players that we do have in Australia. And that can be done because it is being done now. So short answer to your question is yes. Why not?
Why not? Try it. On the third test, try it. It's always spectacularly terrible when you first do the blitz up and in with the umbrella shape, because you always offer space, and it takes about 7 or 8 matches, and you just get torched, and you look terrible, and everyone hates you. And then you finally get it where Gary Ringrose collects a guy, man and all, and you run an easy try, and you realize, Oh, I like defense becoming attacking.
Yeah, this is
it's
good.
cool.
This is good. Yeah, look, it can be done. I reckon the Brumbies have taken 2 seasons to get fully used to it. And when they started it early 2024, midway through the year, it actually looked like they maybe pulled back on it because they were conceding a lot of tries. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it just looked like they pulled back on it. They went back to it this year, but they were better at it and they were more connected. They were better at maintaining their connected as they talk about. So it can be done, but it does take time. But the real question is going to be, what does Les Kiss want to do? Because Queensland, I don't think have necessarily done that, and that's where it's interesting, and this is where this whole transition thing is going to become a thing, and that's probably, I mean, it definitely is another chat for another day. But
I imagine Joe Schmidt and Les Kiss talking about the up and in blitz rush and going, "What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do?" And in the end, going,
and
let's just
we
stick
can't
with
have
what
that.
we got.
Go the old Sands our way, where no one knows what they want to do. The status quo remains. Good stuff, mate. There's some good stuff in that. I like that. This is a good little thing to do. We've not even really got into the teams that have been named. It's interesting that Lions have gone 6-2, so there's a ruthless streak in Andy Farrell, evidently. The Wallabies have gone back to 5-3. So Ben Donaldson is sitting there going, maybe this week I can get on. So we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. See how it plays out. We'll be back with the third test post-mortem following full time of the third Lions test out at Sydney. I can't believe this Lions series is almost over, mate. It's gone so quick.
Cross your fingers for Taniela Tupou, the Tongan Thor. Yeah. He's got to rediscover whatever that was that we all fell in love with. They burst on the scene. Listen, Taniela, it's made for you. This is it. You got a stage. 82,000 people sold out. Do it.
Absolutely. See you soon.
Cheers.